Footy and Frothies, round 5 preview, March April the 7th, 2021. Daggy, Oli, Barney, Blocky and John here to run through our thoughts on the upcoming round. SuperCoach talk first, boys. Barn, what did you take out of last week's SuperCoach-wise beyond the preposterous results, and how are you going to handle these ridiculous blowouts going forward?
Oh, realistically, you're just going to have to look for the points of difference of who's going to score all the points again when they're playing the Bulldogs, Manly, or the Cowboys. Just load up. Just pick 2 centres and a winger from the side that's playing any of those 3 teams, and you're probably flying.
I think you are. Yeah, I've found, and feel free to jump in, boys, that looking at the draw ahead's more is just as important as who I might bring in or out. For example, Jimmy the Jet. I'm hoping one more week might bring me good fortune, but
you've probably got about 2 or 3 weeks left, realistically, with your cash makers, and then you're going to have to move on and either find another one or upgrade in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then about 3 weeks down the line, round 9, round 10, you're going to have to start looking towards who's not playing during Origin, and if you're going for your overall titles, you're going to have to start looking at who you're going to have to shift in and out to deal with the buyers.
Now, Oli sits out SuperCoach, so he can sit there and munch on his chocolate. Blocky, throw that headset on while we talk SuperCoach if you like. It's been your first foray into SuperCoach. Have you got a plan ahead for Origin, or are you just going to clench your ass cheeks and over the rest?
Bit of both. But heading into it, I've been told it is probably the hardest part of the season to manage.
One of the buy rounds, you're just going to have to cop it. The other one, you're going to have to try and get as many points as you can.
So I can't really head into it with a plan because I'm kind of going in blindfolded. But I've kind of come to the system of, with these blowouts, I just feel like there's so many points floating about that you just need to have some of these guns in early and just stick to it. So I've come up with a system of get a cashy, get a gun every week.
Get a what?
Yeah, you almost happened.
Nothing better than a cash and a cum on a Saturday night, isn't there?
I think you can't really go wrong. I don't know if it's the best strategy, but it's my first time, so we're going to see how it goes.
Just make sure you don't burn too many of those trades, mate, because you're going to need a few around Origin time.
Yeah.
And you're going to want a couple at the back end of the season. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I think last year's going to put a few people off this year. The fact that they gave us more trades last year for fewer games.
Well, last year's my first full year, and I had it too good, and now I'm... in a little way, I've origin-proofed my team, and I've got Georgie Pye at halfback and a few people that I'm going to be picked, but there's still a buy to deal with. There's still... And I've just
give yourself a 3-week lead-in to both bye weeks. Start looking ahead about 3 weeks before the Origin and the buys are going to kick in, and you should be able to shuffle 4 or 5 blokes around. And if you can name 12 to 14 players out of your 17, you're probably going to go okay.
Yeah, I'm someone that I don't really care about my overall score and ranking. I'm not looking for one of those key rings. I'm more than happy to just do well in my leagues, and I don't care where I finish in that top 8. As long as I'm in that top 8, I'm pretty confident I'll have a good side to compete in the finals. So my goal at the moment, make as much money.
Sorry, I just looked over and Ollie's just going,
If you're going head-to-head in cash leagues, that's the best way to play it. Just go full ball all the way through, especially if you're playing for cash with your mates. And
and if you can scrape into the top 4, it doesn't matter if you finish first or fourth. There's no home game advantage, so no issue there.
Well, that happened last year. I think both the undefeated teams got knocked off first week of final.
In our competition.
Because they focus too much on on their score throughout the year, that by the time they get to the finals, they just drop away.
Yeah, I've always been an overall player, and generally that's why I'll take one of the bye weeks as just I'm going to cop it, and I'm going to end up with 500-600 points that week because I am still trying to play overall, but at the back end of the year I want to keep those blokes. I'm not going to trade them out and then try and bring them back in and burn 4 trades. So in our competition we've got the Nevilles running first. All the top 4 are actually on the same points. Actually, with the head-to-heads, we've only played the 2 head-to-head games, and we've all won our 2 head-to-head games. We've got the Nevilles running first with a positive 181. Raider Nation running second. I'm running third, and Daggy's running fourth.
Hey, I'm playing Raider Nation. Mitch from the Colonial is the Raider Nation.
Okay.
You defended your title this week?
Yes, I do again. I'm not even sure who I'm playing this week, but I managed to scrape past Damo last week. We were both the top scorers the week before. And then Pappenhausen made us pretty much the bottom scorers this week because neither of us had him. But, I think I got passed by about 60 or 70 points. So
You are playing, in fact, what's your name, David?
Barney's bus.
My
Get a
phone
ball
decided
aboard the
not
bus. There he is. No, only-
Oh, you're defending against Clint, whoever you may be, Clint.
Clint
not-
Russell, one of my schoolmates,
Oh,
actually.
there you go. So you're defending against him. So in our comp, for those who don't know, we have the overall stuff and then a linear title belt. So a world champion that defends head-to-head every week. So he has to defend it every week.
Yeah, nice.
And if you lose it, it goes off down a different path. Your first foray into SuperCoach, Johnny. What's been your strategy? How you're playing your reserves, and who's impressed you and who's underwhelmed you so far this year?
Underwhelmed. I think probably 50+% of people would go Charlie Staines, especially with a few of those early fixtures. You
I feel
mentioned
so bad because I saw the writing on the wall, and then I still fell into it because
still
you had
went
to
there.
because there was no one else.
Yeah, I think that's a
And I was stuck with him. But
think-
I tell you what, he looked, when he moved to fullback for about the last 10 minutes last week, geez, he had something to offer. Like, there is something there, but I don't know.
I'll say that if you've got Momorowski, you've benefited from not having Charlie Staines. Momorowski just keeps he's
Yeah, I got him
our
drafted,
Justin Olam.
so,
He just
yeah.
keeps it and runs.
Doesn't pass it.
Yeah, but I think I've kind of fallen on a tactic that a lot of people have is just I kind of went cheap with my CTWs. My Nuffies are CTW.
Seems like the theme of everyone I speak to.
Yeah,
Generally, yeah. Because there's no standouts week to week generally from
Yeah.
your centre wings.
pretty much.
Well, I snaffled 2-0 straight away.
Well, Olam's been
And
one
just
of the
went, you know,
best.
I'll build it on that, and then
yeah.
and I
Obviously,
had capable
B-Moz is killing it.
dual
but
position. Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of people fell into Laurie and have gone, sweet, I'm just going to keep him
Yep.
if he's getting 60+ a week. But I've
Yeah.
got Brian to own
Toto's absolutely killing it.
and
Yeah.
Fergo.
Putting up big
So I'm
scores
starting
every
to flesh
week.
out with the ones that are actually getting consistent
Yeah.
base points as well as scoring a couple times a week.
I had
so.
Bradman Best, and I would have been happy to keep him, but he's been injured. So,
I think he would have been in my side if he was still fit instead
yeah,
of Fergo.
I started with Tutu and Bradman Best as my two guns, and the rest of them were all just blokes that I hope would make some money
Yeah.
in your Dane Lorries and Fusatua, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I had to say, well, I had Mead, Fusatua, Jimmy Roberts, and Staines in that mix, and, well, they are still in that mix. But
Yeah.
I got rid of Mead this week. I've just bit the bullet and gone, I need a carcass, so I'm going to bring Tapine in, and I'll move Capel back there. And I think it's time to bring Tino in around the 500. I think he'll make money from here next
I'll
few
probably
weeks.
be grabbing Talakai as soon as he comes in because you can push him into the centre wing position, and he's going to average you 50 to 60 points most weeks.
Yeah.
I think with all these injuries, there's definitely been some opportunities to get some. I think at the start, there were a lot of cheapies that did not kind of
A lot
eventuate.
of them didn't fire at all.
But
Yeah.
now you've got, your Schusters and your Walkers. I think there's a situation where you can go Schuster into Sullivan into Walker
Topine,
and go
yeah.
cash.
And I've got, and Tukey Simpkins hasn't yet come along, but he impressed me
Jaden
enough.
Brayley was a
He
big
might be
one.
he might be a bit down the
Brayley's
pecking order
huge,
now.
yeah.
to be honest,
Little's
but-
another
so.
one that's made a lot of money. And
But
will
Tapine
continue to
Schuster
make some
still
money.
sitting there. Hopefully, make me some money
Yep.
to get me through that. Do you like playing? I like playing dual hooker, dual fullback sort of setup. How have you approached it?
Yeah, I've kind of gone down the road of Teddy and Pappy. I think
Well,
It's
good,
just kinda
good place to be in there.
yeah, speaks for itself. I started with Little, and I think kind of my inexperience showed where I got Tyson Smoothie going, oh, he's just going to play and he's a base. But shifted him out pretty quickly the week that Brayley went up by $1 million. So I've got him and Little rotating. I started with Chanel Harris-Tavita as my backup halfback, goal kicker. In the end, that didn't work out because of injury, but I've held him on until this week. I'm putting Sean O'Sullivan, so he'll make a stack of money as well. So
Yep.
I think I've fallen into something pretty good. I've got Fish Fafita Barnett as my starting. Paulo Takiaho. I think I've got enough there to get me through.
Blocky, if you were to play SuperCoach, how would you approach it? Where's your strategy?
Which I definitely do not. I do play. Just won't win any prizes. The way I have done it this year is I've been rotating my halves and my hookers a lot. I had to get rid of Jacob Little last week just because of needing to bring in players. Schuster had to come in. Connor Watson has gone. I've moved Connor Watson 3 times already, just because of the players coming in and out.
Yeah.
Needed to buy Brayley for week 3. I needed to bring in Schuster. I may have to make another change this week, but we'll see what happens there.
I brought Hunt in for some cash, and then he got a broken leg, and I had Kiri in there to make some cash, and he got
He's been
injured
good.
as well.
SuperCoach wise, is Luke Brooks. He's, not that I've got him, but he's made about 120 already.
Not bad.
Nice.
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed last week. I knew that, and I'm no genius to work this one out, but I knew Melbourne would have a good game against Brizzy, so I thought, let's captain Munster. Pick the wrong guy. It cost me about 160 points, but what can you do?
Well, I played the cards with hopefully Latrell having a Pappen-styled game. Instead, he decided to drink my heaters in the background.
And if you didn't score that last try at the end there, it would have been
got
absolutely
30 something.
Yeah,
exactly.
such is life.
In saying that, this week I'm going to stick with Munster as captain.
Yeah.
I know Pappenhausen is a very easy choice against the Bulldogs, but hey, let's go Munster, sticking with him.
I'm going to stick with Latrell, to be honest, just because I think he'd probably get a rev up out of what he did last week, and he knows he's better than what he did. He spent a lot of time just sort of running around the back and following the ball rather than getting involved. And if he gets involved, he could go 100 plus easy. So
I've sort of gone that way as well. Given I'm thinking same as you, and could imagine him a couple of quiet weeks. You at some point, you get bored and decide to put on 3 tries. Vice captain Luai, I could give thought to just captaining Mahoney again, but what am I saying?
Crichton's going to
Really?
get you 80 every week
Yeah,
as well, so
something
he's
around
probably
there.
not a bad captain.
Just looking through your team there, Daggy, you have a team full of pods, and I love it, mate.
Yeah, he does.
I have to.
He loves the
It's
pods.
ingrained in me that I have to be better than everyone else. So it's all pods.
Looking through several plays there, they're absolute guns, and they could absolutely win you this competition. But players
Yes,
that
that's
not many
happened, yes,
people
well,
have.
Yeah, but I do love a pod, and I've taken great pride in podding around. But such is life, I suppose. Part of what I do is sort by percentage and just pen people as well.
I like it.
Yeah.
I feel
Again,
like-
even Topine's under Topine for 170. Everyone's probably got
He's
Sam
going to
Walker.
make 80 grand
And
probably this week. So
I think in a couple of weeks I can turn him around. I had Wiki Tool this week. I got rid of him, brought Tino and Topine in, and I think in a few weeks I'll either upgrade one of my props there. I've been disappointed in Hetherington this year, but he might.
last
be on the
game
way.
was his best game of the year, and
Yeah.
hopefully he builds on
So
that.
I think
It's,
building towards a second 5'8" will probably be the next thing, or ultimately, bringing Cody Walker in
so
at the expense of a few. Anyway, any final thoughts on Supercoach? Oh,
I was just going to move on to the tipping, Tom, because I think we've spent more than enough time on the
Yep.
Supercoach, to be honest. So we get our tipping competition. We've got Captain Risky, Irish Tony, and Kaz Lads all on 25 points. Actually, Tasmania and Gasmist as well. So the top 5 are all sorted by percentages. And then we move down to Daggy on 24 points, 1 point behind, but he goes back down to 10th on percentages. And myself, I'm running 28th out of about 35. And I'm on 22 points for our tipping comp.
let's get in our preview. We might just, for the sake of brevity. Oh, do you want to swap that back? Okay. I was going to say, Ollie's awoken from his chocolate slumber. I was going to say you might switch seats, but that's fine. Keep the headset on. All right, let's
It's
get
nice. He's
into.
got some sugar in him. We might have a crack.
Let's get into. Oh, I wanted to ask you about. Yeah, no. Well, we talked
What have we
everything. The holding on Jimmy Roberts. I'm prognosticating one more week of Jimmy Roberts will reap points this week. I'm hoping he gets some open space. We didn't really talk about it in our review, but I'd love him some clean air before the line.
Yeah, well, Fusatua's going. If I didn't have Fusatua, it would have been Jimmy Roberts, but Fusatua's going for Topo and just to
Yeah.
get the cash in there, and that's...
Yeah, Jimmy Roberts spoke to the media today, and he did say he's due for a try. He was also saying that he's pretty keen for some early ball. So this is your week,
I'm
Dags.
hoping. And Mitch Moses, we're losing money hand over fist. Is he going to come good or?
I think he was pretty much priced to his top to begin with, because the back end of his last year wasn't too bad, and he was always priced around where he was going. He was never going to make you heaps of money. If you were going to bring him in, he was only there to get you the points, and he hasn't lived up to that to begin with. So
Yeah, I think Mitch Moses is that one guy. I think at that price point, a lot of people are going him. Would have hoped for him to be an avenue into a Munster or something. Hopefully that early draw. I think they've got a pretty good draw for the next couple of months as well, so he could still eventually be
they
that.
just had the
but-
cruisiest draw of all time, and
Yeah.
that's why I thought,
But you just
he's
love
gonna-
him to stamp a bit
he's the
more
best flat
authority
track
on those
bully
games.
around, and I thought he might bully some.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our preview. As I asked the beautiful producer Mariah if she can get me a beer. The Bunnies and the Broncos. Interesting way to kick off the week. Cody Walker's suspended for the week, but sees Benji come straight into 6. Colin Matungi, same deal, sees Jacob Host actually come straight into the starting lineup. Herbie's out, and I love that Blocky is also a big fan of Herbie because and I love that guy.
I was interested that he came in straight into the starting side host, considering he was dropped after the one game. But
You bring up Herbie. During the week, Sean Wayne actually named the England squad for the mid-season. They're doing a game against the Combined Nations over there in England.
He's
And
an English centre.
yeah,
Oh,
and
Herbie.
Didn't get picked. A few NRL players did, but Herbie didn't,
He didn't?
which was a surprise.
wow, really?
Hodgson's going over, Williams. I think it might be during one of the Origin breaks, so a couple of them can. But yeah, I was surprised to not see Herbie there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I would have thought,
100%.
playing A grade instead of reserve grade over there would have been good. Rich Kemner comes into 3 for Herbie. Carrigan's out for the week. TPJ comes into lock and Asiata onto the bench. Let's go this way, Barn. How
I was
you
surprised
breaking it
TPJ got put to the bench last week, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's been one of their better forwards. I think the packs are pretty close, but that's about the only thing that's going to get close in this game. I can't see Brisbane hanging on for more than about 30 minutes in this one. I'm interested to see how Benji goes playing 80 minutes. He hasn't played 80 minutes for a little while, and it's going to be interesting. But I expect him to combine well. He's already shown
Do you know
that
much
he's got
about Dean Hawkins?
no idea who
Yeah,
Dean
me
Hawkins
neither. He's
is,
on
to
the
be
bench. There he is.
honest.
Anyone?
But
Just know he's a fringe half. And that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
he's had some nice. He's already shown that some nice link-up play with Latrell on that left-hand side. So I'm going to go South 13 plus. First try scorer Mitchell and man of the match Latrell.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, there needs to come a point where Kevy, I'm sick of his each-way bets. Naming Croft and Dearden every week is now getting ridiculous. You've got to make a call. You can't just play 3 halves here because you could have a Ethan Bullimore or a Reece Kennedy. Either one would add more to this side than a third half would.
I think Croft probably actually played his best game of the
Is that
season
yeah.
last week, and he
Yeah.
only played 20-odd minutes off the bench. So
Yeah, well, I just think at some point he's going to have to grow a set. While I'm talking, though, I will say I'm saying South. I just really think there's something to the Broncos forward pack, but
Agreed.
what that
30 plus.
means, I'm saying 1 to 12. I'm getting it wrong, but I'm tipping South. But I'm saying that full pack will get them deep into this game deeper than last week, just because there's not that big body beyond Tom.
you're just going to cry yourself to sleep when
Doesn't
Benji
bowl
sets
him.
up 7 tries.
Yeah,
and
well, yeah.
I was going to say a couple of forwards were decent for the Bulldogs against the Rabbitohs last week, but that didn't stop anything.
I am saying so off Latrell's quiet game last week. I'm agreeing with you in that he will be Benji will be looking for support rather than Cody Walker, who doesn't necessarily play that way. Benji will be looking for that pop up inside or out.
Yeah, Walker's a
Latrell-
run first, whereas Benji's
Benji will be saying "Come with me, Latrell." First try Latrell, man of the match Latrell, because he'll be made to look like a superstar by 1B Marshall. From me, Johnny.
It'd be a good game. Like you said, there's something there for the Broncos, but I just think the Rabbits be too big, too powerful. I think the difference in their forward pack is when that bench starts to come alive. I think they got Mark Nichols and Jaira coming on against that
100%.
step down
The
from the
professor's
Broncos.
tremendous.
But I think it's good to see that Kevy's put Haas and TPJ there. I think they should be from the start, but it's good to see he's actually done it this week, even if it is forced.
Yeah.
But he'll have to scatter those minutes pretty well for them to hang in for full 80 minutes. And Cody Walker out. I think Broncos are pretty lucky with that one. The way that they've defended through the middle, Cody could have he could have put a cricket score on himself. But I'll go with the Rabbits. I'll go 13 plus. I'll go Sauce, first try scorer. I think
Nice.
they've done well with Adam Reynolds on that right-hand side. I'll go Cook, man of the match.
Blockmeister.
Yeah, I like South Sydney in this one as well. As Daggy mentioned and a few of the other lads, the Broncos forward pack, I really rate it, and I think that will keep them in the game for the first 20, 25 minutes. I think it'll be a very low-scoring game to start, and then South Sydney will run away with it. Cook as well, for me. Johnny, you went with him for man of the match. He was outstanding last week. Love how he runs from dummy half. Best hooker in the game. I'm saying that pretty straight. First try scorer, Alex Johnston. I think he'll finish the most tries. I know Brett Morris is on fire. But yeah, I'm going to go Souths, maybe just 13 plus. And yeah, that's me.
Ollie Wallinga.
I'm going South 13 plus. First try scorer for me, I'm going to go with Aj as well, AJ. Man of the match for me, I'm actually going to go with Jai Arrow coming off the bench because I'm going to reiterate what you guys said. Brisbane have got a solid forward pack, and I think they actually might match South Sydney for the first bit of the game, but I feel like when they start getting tired, Arrow comes in for that extra punch and he'll look really good coming on and I guess possibly be a difference maker, or at least start South Sydney towards that momentum to carry on with the game.
Nice.
Let's get to the Friday night game, 6 p.m. Warriors and Manly at Central Coast. Warriors down some big guns in Fanua Blake, Bailey Sirinen and Bunty through suspension. That sees Leeson, Armo come in and start, Katoa and Jack Murchie named at the second row. Benny Turbo named on extended Manly bench, but both centres are out. Boyle, Sully both out. Harper and Parker starting centres. Maybe not a bad thing, to be honest. Let's go
Don't like
the other way.
Parker. I like Harper. Don't like Parker.
Ollie.
I am going with the Warriors in this one, but honestly, it's a bit hard for me whether I'm going 1 to 12 or 13 plus, and that's purely due to the outs of the Warriors. I will go 13 plus, but I don't see him beating them by any more than 20. I'm going to say first try scorer. You know what? I'm going to say it's going to be the RTS show here. First try scorer and man of the match.
Nice.
Well, Johnny, you got the mic, so why not blocking?
So the Warriors, with all those outs, to say they're lucky they're playing Manly this week. They do get Kane Evans as well for the first time, which should be good.
Yes.
They were pretty excited to snap him up. With Manly, of all the
Who I rate
craps,
too. Yeah, Kane Evans is a good player,
he is.
in my humble.
But with Manly, I say with all those crap sides at the bottom, they probably have the biggest upside.
Yeah.
But again, you can't tip them this week based off what they've shown. So with that, I go Warriors 13 plus. I go Pompey first try scorer on that edge. I think they might still be a little bit battered and bruised from what Penrith did to that edge last week, Manly. And I'll go Jake Turbo as man of the match. He'll try his hardest.
Blocky?
I thought Manly were absolutely terrible last week against Penrith, woeful, and I was considering tipping them here as a bit of an upset, but then I remembered last week's game, and I just cannot do it. I think they'll show a bit more heart this week. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout, but I have to tip the Warriors in this one. First try scorer, let's go a bit of a roughie. Tohu Harris from the front row, man of the match, Cody Nikorima.
Okay, rightio. I'm going to go, as I said, I like Harper coming into the centres, but I don't think that's enough to even get Manly close. They're going to need to play their best game of the season just to get anywhere near the Warriors. The Warriors have lost a bit, but their pack's way too strong, I think, in this game. Warriors 13 plus. I'm going to go first try scorer Wade Egan, dive over from dummy half, and I'm going to go man of the match, Tohu Harris.
Yeah, I'm going to go Warriors by about 16. I think everything is right. It would be more if they had all their cavalry on board. RTS man of the match for everything everyone's already said, and just because I can, Fusatilla first try.
Because I'm going to sell him this week. Yeah, good. He will. He'll score 4.
Yes, I hope so. The match of the round on paper, Penrith and Canberra at Penrith Stadium. You boys heading out?
I will be, yes. First game of the season.
Oh, very
Yep,
good.
looking forward to it.
Penrith as per program. Tarpanay back for the Raiders into lock. Sutton goes to prop, which pushes Ryan James back to the bench. Tremendous game. At the game where you'll be, how are you looking at it?
Panthers fans are not going to like me for this one. I do love playing the Raiders. Every time we come against them, it's always something happens, whether they're smashing down the billboards at the stadium or their fans are hurling gestures at us when we travel there. But it's always something there to keep the game going for 80 minutes. I think whoever gets on top in the middle to let their respective left edge just take control. I mean, we've got Luai, Kikau, To'o. They've got Wyden, Rapana and Croker. I think that's more to do with Whiten and Rapana rather than Croker for me. And I think a lot of that comes down to Hodgson versus Kenny. And that's kind of where I've gone. I've tipped Raiders 1 to 12. I think they will just sneak it just through that matchup. I think Hodgson gets his forwards rolling much better than Mitch Kenny. I think if they start well, the Raiders, I think you can see them going on with it and laying a platform there. I've gone Papali'i, first try scorer. And with those reasons, Hodgson, man of the match.
Nice. Okay. I just noticed, Corey Wahiru-Naira is on the extended bench.
Yes.
I would be surprised if they've done that he wouldn't come in front of one of these boys. And you asked, I think it was Blocky asked earlier about what dogs do. I thought about last week, why aren't clubs just knocking the door down for Tom Starling? Seriously, he could go to, at least 4 clubs and start at hooker and be tremendous. Raiders lucky to have him, but yeah, different. I guess different chat. Just a couple that popped
And
up
he
there.
got like 8 minutes or something last week.
Yeah,
as well.
like if you're the Bulldogs, for example, just go and get him. Blocky.
I really like Penrith. Although, when I looked at this game, and I'm not allowed to bet, but when you see $1.39 for Penrith and $3 for the Raiders, you start to think maybe have a little look at the Raiders. The line's 7.5. If I was to go a line bet, I'd definitely be going the Raiders here. In saying that, I do think Penrith will win the match. They're playing with so much confidence. We saw it last week that nothing bothers them. They just play and they defend well. They've conceded 16 points. I know that not against great opposition, but 16 points in 4 games. That's an average of 4 if you want to do maths again.
Oh, let me write that down.
Blocky's tips. So I don't think Canberra have the attacking skill. Like, they've got several good attacking players, but not enough to trouble Penrith that much. I'm going to say Penrith in a tight one, maybe low scoring. I'm going to go Matt Burton first try scorer, and if I'm going with the Dally M points, I've just got to stick with Nathan Cleary because no matter what he does, they love him and they'll give him 20 points.
I'd agree with that.
No, but we choose our own man of the
Oh,
match.
yeah, that's
this
right.
If we're
year.
going to
But well, fun fact, because you said you still read the paper. Do they actually? We couldn't find anywhere
Where it's
a
published.
recorded man of the match.
not man of the match. They do the Dally M points on Monday morning.
So for
on the
years
telly.
it used to be you used to get the score, the da crowd man of the match. They don't do
But
it.
they
You
don't.
cannot find it.
There's not really an official man of the
Yeah.
match.
No,
like
because there's
Channel-
that many different broadcasts.
yeah, and Channel 9 do a man of the match. Although now, I'm going to give a plug to VB.
hard-earned.
The hard-earned
Yeah.
index, which is just a stupid formula.
Yeah.
But that's still only run through Fox, and then
Yeah, but 9 are doing it now as
Are they
well.
doing it
Oh,
as
really?
well?
Yeah, everyone's doing it
That's
with
a
it.
whole different. If you're asking that, that's a whole different thing
Yeah.
in terms of.
Yeah,
us
that's
But it's,
completely
it's,
stat-based.
it's a stat based thing,
Yeah.
and it doesn't show the best player. Just whoever's made the most
Yes.
tackles and runs wins the award.
Yeah.
But we need to go back to the traditional man of the match, maybe the
Agree.
old rugby league week score out of 10,
100%.
something like that. No, they don't do it anymore.
Yes,
Because
but you
there's
can't
too
find
many-
it. You
yeah,
cannot find
you got-
any
No,
anywhere.
it's
radio
It's,
broadcast, TV broadcast,
Well,
and they've all got their own different.
Everyone's
man
got
of the
their
match.
own points,
Yeah.
like the Daggy M's and
Yes,
the
well, that's why we started it.
ABC do it, League Unlimiteds do it. There's a Twitter
Yeah.
one going. It's
Yeah.
your blokes probably do it too, Ollie, right? Or
We
not?
actually don't.
Okay.
Oh,
there we go.
It's
Thanks,
the trick,
mate.
but yeah, 2GB do it. It's triple.
Yeah,
It's
everyone's
all,
got
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Ollie.
It's the 30-year celebration of 91, isn't it? The entire, except for Brandy Alexander, because Fox won't release him to do it, the entire 91 Panthers side are doing a lap of the ground before the game. I dare say they'll be doing a guard of honour for Penrith coming out. So Penrith aren't going to lose this one.
That makes no sense for them. Just not let Brandy go for a day.
Exactly,
Could make a
especially
whole
when they
thing
can
of it.
use him on
Even
another
for
day.
half an hour.
Yeah, but use him there
Bring
on the
it back.
ground
Yeah.
and just.
My favourite a few years back, maybe it was a 50-year anniversary. They got the old blokes to have a game before.
That's right, I was there, yeah. Against the Dragons.
And
Against the
Brandy
Dragons,
was
old
playing
boys.
at his age, and he was outstanding. Like, a few of them looked like they were well past it, but
Yeah.
Brandy still had it. Absolute legend.
But they filmed like just make a day of it. They could do a whole clip for Fox League. We're talking about they need content now, which is why other projects are happening.
Mic him
and-
up for it.
Yeah, mic him
Yeah.
up for it. Have him do a lap of the ground. Let him do 20 minutes and you go sit next to Fossey afterwards. Like, yeah.
He's also on the board at Penrith, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
surely you'd think he'd have some say to be like, no, Penrith
me
want
20
me.
minutes,
Penrith
fuck
want me
yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
And just don't schedule him to commentate or be on the panel that
Particularly
day.
as we've talked about that, like he
Yeah.
carried it. Well, didn't carry him, but he was the superstar of the
Yeah.
team. Yeah. Anyway, your thoughts on
So
this?
yeah, I don't think Penrith are losing on this day. I'm looking forward to getting out to it and watching the game. I'm going to say Penrith. It'll still be 1-12. First try score, I'm going to go with Bizza. And man of the match. You know what? Because he's currently tied leading the Daggy M's and we love him, I'm going to go Bizza man of the match too. I'm
Okay,
going to
fair
say he gets a couple. Oh, they are versing Canberra, actually. But you know what?
Run over the top of Rapana.
Yeah, let's just go for it.
He's up against Simonson on that wing,
Other wing?
so that
Yeah,
that could
okay.
work in his favour even more.
100%. I think it comes down to the execution of the halves, to be honest, in this game. I think Penrith will have that little bit extra polish in the halves than what Canberra have had. Canberra have got it there, but it's been pretty clunky to start the year. The combination between the 6 and the 7 isn't quite gelling yet for Canberra. I'm not saying it's not going to happen by the end of the year, but at the moment I think Penrith's halves is just that little bit slicker than what the Raiders are. Matchups everywhere, all over the ground. Like you put that 17 up against the other 17, and there's going to be fireworks in this game. We've got Penrith 1-12. I think they've got that little bit extra X factor, and it gives them the edge. I'm going to go Fisher Harris man of the match. Penrith 1-12, and I'm with Blocky with Burton first try scorer on that in the left centres.
I like it. I'm going to go Penrith by 8. I think it's going to be a ripper game. I'm going to come back and say that, as you said, match management's going to count in this game because this will be a finals intensity game. And Nathan Cleary will step up and get the 3 points, as Blocky said earlier. And I'm actually going to go a bit of broken field play. Charlie Staines getting the board and score a try first, just to go outside the box there. But I think it'll be a ripper. I'm looking forward to the forward clash because I love the Canberra forwards. Look at the depth there, like we just said. Huirinara on there and who they're still missing, and Sutton and Young and Tarpanay, some of my favourite players. So just looking forward to seeing where both teams are at. Let's get to the 3 o'clock game on the Saturday, which is Titans and Newcastle up at Seabus. The Don is out for Sammy to come back onto the wing. Knights do welcome back some reinforcements. Ponga is named, and I assume starting, and probably gives 12 points back to that team that they've missed all the way through. Watson and Green, the half combination. Suaso Sul comes on to start at lock. We need to see something from Newcastle, and I'll just roll on while I'm doing it. I am saying we might not yet. I think they'll be much improved, but I think Titans can put the foot down. Another tremendous forward battle. I'm looking forward to seeing, they have, again, backing Tino to start at prop. I'm saying he will continue what he's on and be man of the match.
Just to jump in, sorry, I was just thinking, is this one going to be at Seabus? I thought it was 2 weeks. Cogra?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
No, they said they're going back.
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
back.
They're back.
Going back.
We're 2 weeks away
better.
from New
The
Zealand being
lockdown
back
got
on the
cancelled.
table, so yeah.
Okay.
Now I got cancelled because
Right.
everyone pulled their heads and did a good thing. Missing Saifidi, Man, Pearce, Hoy, all big outs. Ponga begin, but yeah, I'm saying Titans 1-12 and first try, Patrick Herbert,
Man of the match.
man of the match, Tino. He'll step up again with a hot forward pack to take on. We'll bring the best out of him. I like that there's almost like a perceived rivalry between him and Fafita now.
Yeah.
And they'll both have points to prove. It'll be the same 3. We'll be talking. I promise you, this time next week we'll be talking about Mo, Tino, and
More than
Fafita,
likely.
and that's the way I'll play the game. Johnny, Blocky's got a microphone.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a cracking match. I do love the Saturday 3 o'clock game. I know lots of people are off it, but I love sitting on the lounge and getting some early footy on a Saturday arvo. We'll go down to the pub, watch a few races, and watch footy.
We're
Anyway,
on for this Saturday.
back to the game. I'm actually going to go Newcastle with this one. I know they've been very disappointing the last couple of weeks, but they've got to show something. I actually really like Blake Green at halfback. I know Mitchell Pearce is a gun and will be out for over 10 weeks.
Questionable.
Yeah, questionable, valid. But I understand why the Titans are favourites in this game. But I do think Newcastle are a massive shot at $3.50.
Yep.
Again, if I was allowed to bet, I may have a sneaky bet. I'm not allowed to. Ponga back, big boost. I'm going to go Newcastle 1-12. Ponga to score the first try. Ponga to be man of the match.
Ollie, how are you looking at it?
I was confident because Pearce was out, but Barney and I had a chat off camera, and now I'm pretty worried because he did bring up the fact that Ponga's back. Blake Green coming in, who, I mean, he has been out injured the past year, but he could still provide something.
Some
I think.
good things at the back end of last year.
So I'm a little worried. I'm going to stick with my boys, 1-12. I'm going to say first try scorer. AJ, just because I want to see something out of him. And man of the match, I'll stick with your Tino.
Barn, and I'll preface
Yes.
this with a question because
Okay.
I like throwing at him.
Yes.
Where are the Titans halves at the Titans spine actually at?
Yeah, they're
And,
struggling.
What does it mean for this game?
Yeah, well, Mitch Rain, Fogarty's coming back in off it. He obviously got cleared.
It looks like he's playing from everything I can see.
So bruising or
Yeah, something like that. Carried on like a girl,
Don't
whatever.
know. AJ's been very, very quiet, which has obviously been to the Titans' detriment. But I think they've decided for the first month of the year that they're just going to play through their new recruits and just I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. I thought their game plan for the first 4 weeks is just going to be bash it up through the middle, see what we've got there, and then we'll go back to what we were doing at the back end of last year. And if the forward pack can keep producing the way they have, and then the back line's been really clunky for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They're going to have to show something here to get some points. But Newcastle's in the same boat, to be honest, especially with Pearce coming out. And, I don't know. There's a lot of questions around the Titans' back line, especially their halves. You've had the 6 dropped. Fogarty's injured, coming back in. Tanner Boyd has looked serviceable.
Yeah.
Probably
Just.
not much more than serviceable,
Yeah.
but he's done a job. I think this is going to be a very close game. I think Pearce missing doesn't help them, but the fact that he's going to be missing from the start of the game rather than having to scramble, 30 minutes into the game, probably helps them a little bit, as we were talking earlier. O'Brien seems a one-track sort of mindset, whereas he's going down his game plan, and as long as that game plan's fine without Green going down or Watson going down and then having to reshuffle, I think they're going to be in the game for a long way. But I think the Titans have just got the edge. I think their the reserve bench is actually where they're going to win this game. I think the blokes that they got bringing in off the bench is just going to keep that forward pack rolling a little bit better than what the Titans have got to offer off the bench. The Knights have got to offer off the
Those
bench.
first 3 have been really good. Jolliffe and Lasoni's been good.
Yeah, and then you got Mo as well, as we've
Yeah, and obviously
spruiked
goes
forever.
without saying.
I've got the Titans winning 1-12. I think Brian Kelly's going to score the first try. I think they've missed him greatly on that edge, and he's going to add a fair bit to this team. And I think AJ's he hasn't stepped up yet, so it's about time for him to break out. And I've got him as man of the match.
He
so.
did against the Cows, but they
Yeah,
were
that's-
versing the
yeah.
Cows.
I can't wait for Fafita versus Frizzell. I think that's going to be so much fun to watch on that edge. I think the Knights forwards have kept them in a lot of their games where their backs have kind of let them down. But I think the Titans are very well matched versus that forward pack as well. So I've given that the edge to the Titans. I'll go them 1-12. I think Brian Kelly's huge. He adds a bit more points for them to play with. I've gone Barnett, first try scorer. Like you boys said, AJ's been quiet, but I think coming up against Ponga, he's going to want to stake a bit of a claim for his origin spot. I don't think he'll win it, no matter how he plays here, but I think he'll put up a show, and I think I'll go Brimson man of the match.
If Titans were to lose this, what does that just drag them down to Knights level rather than elevate the Knights now?
Yeah, I think so.
Correct.
I feel like they're still sort of in that same bracket as it is.
Okay.
It'll be see throughout the season which team ends up a bit better. I'd say that bracket at the moment is probably the Warriors, Titans, Knights and Sharks in no particular order.
Yeah.
And
I'm optimistically putting Tigers towards there, and even
Yeah.
Brisbane to a lesser extent because they'll tail the bottom 4, but not.
For me, even the Dragons. But
And Dragon, yeah. So maybe it's...
I've been worried about Cronulla's form recently as well, because maybe that that takes away one of the final 2 spots in the top 8. And I had the Titans and Warriors tip. The Warriors are doing okay.
True.
The
Cronulla
Sharks have
are
been
doing
scrapping.
well.
Sharks have triple
They've got a
much,
few to
right,
come
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
The dog... yep, Dogs... I thought you had something you had there, Blocky. It's inhaled. Just threw me. People don't usually do that. Storm and Dogs at... where are we? Stadium Australia.
Yeah, let's get
Avrilo's
through this
back
one
in for
pretty quick,
Lewis. DWZ's in for Meany. Thompson's back. Josh Jackson back. All big ins, which will help. Harry Grant's a chance, named at 21. Kafusi is back, and Branko Lee has been named, and I assume must be pretty close to maybe pushing one of those 2 blokes out. Yeah, we'll get through it quick. Melbourne by 40. First try, it will be a Nelson crash play. Let's say that.
Yeah,
Now he's
nice.
You
starting,
just copied me, mate.
and the Mad Dog will carve up. Yeah, go on, Blocky.
Yeah, I had Nelson as well for first try. I thought that was going to be my little smoky. But oh well, you took it, mate. They'll win by a million. Man of the match doesn't really matter. They'll all play well. Munster.
Ollie?
You guys have to watch this one, and I'm talking to everyone here.
Oh, I'm going to watch it.
Because, an historic
Oh, I
occasion.
won't then. What?
It's an historic occasion, listeners out
this?
there.
And historic.
We are
and
going to
historic.
see a team for the first
Not
time
score a point
not score a point for
5
4
hours.
straight games.
Yeah, nice.
It's going to be something to watch. And I've said before, whenever Melbourne put on a dominant display, they're a great football team to watch. Yeah, I'm going to go Munster man of the match, first try scorer. Take your pick, but I'm going to go Justin Olam.
I'm just jumping in again. Dogs will score this week.
wouldn't be surprised.
They will get a try.
Fun?
And when they do, I'll clap them.
Fun?
Oh, mate, what can you say? The nightmare just gets worse for the fucking Bulldogs. Seriously. Thompson and Jackson, as you already mentioned, comes back and they help a little bit. But I've got Melbourne 13+. If Harry Grant plays, I'll make it 25+. First try scorer, Josh Adokar. I'm going to go man of the match, Nelson Asafa-Solomona. I think he's just going to tear this pack to pieces. He's going to do what he wants, score a couple of tries, set up one or two.
Yeah.
Craig
He was
Bellamy.
He was really good last week, actually. We didn't even talk about him.
Craig
last
Bellamy
week.
will still somehow be pissed off after this game. Melbourne will somehow
they
not have played
conceded
good
6,
enough.
Yeah. John?
They didn't win by 80.
Storm 13+, Munster first try scorer, Munster man of the match. Let's move on.
Very good. To the 7:30 game, which is an interesting game because it's a really great litmus test for the Sharks to actually see where we're at.
Yeah.
All pretty much as per program. Yeah. Play it again.
Yep.
Sakula Fafita's back from his
I'm surprised
Peanut
he's
gallery.
brought him back, to be honest.
Yeah,
He must be really good.
Ben Marshke named on the extended bench, on the actual bench.
If I had a
Actually,
kid do that on
Yeah.
my field and I was the coach, he wouldn't be
Especially
playing
if
for me for
someone
the
like
rest
Robbo
of the
when
year,
you hear him
mate.
talk.
Fucking nut.
Well, Barn, how are you going to approach this?
Oh, I'm hoping that it's going to be 1-12. I think the Sharks will just scramble and fight as they have done already all this year. I can't see us winning it. Realistically, I'm hopeful that it's going to be 1-12. Off what we saw off the young half that was Walker that was in there last week, if he puts that up again, and there's just too much strike power in that back line for the Roosters and their forward pack, to be honest. Sharks will
It's a
do
great,
their best and
like I
they'll
said,
fight.
a great litmus test. Just see where Teague Wilton and Toby Rudolph
Yeah.
and that are at.
Ramian's
these.
probably a pretty good in for the Sharks on that right edge. He's been one of our better players when he has played over the last couple of years. When he wasn't at Newcastle because he was deplorable there. But I've got Roosters 1-12. First try scorer, I'm going to go Ramian just because I'm going to. And man of the match, Teddy, because Sharks scramble's been really good, but their first up defence is no good. And if he gets through that first line of defence, the scramble's not going to stop him. So.
Yep. Johnny?
Like Barney said, I think the Sharks will try their hardest. They'll make life uncomfortable for a bit, but the Roosters have a bit too much class here with everyone out, and I think they can sustain it for 80 minutes. I'll go Roosters 1-12. I'll go Ueli first try scorer.
Yeah, nice.
I like him on that left edge. I think he's got a bit of skill and a bit of footwork for a big fella. I'll go Walker man of the match. I think he'll back up. He'll have a bit less nerves. I think he'll back himself a little bit more as well, and I think he'll be
Just go full on those forwards a bit more.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
I'll go. I'm going to go Roosters by 14. They'll be plucky, the Sharks, but I think they'll just be shown where they're at.
Yep.
Angus Crichton's form will continue. Man of the match, I think he'll be tremendous. And first try scorer. I'll go Crichton first try. Takiaho man of the match because he's another one we talked about the props were going around, but God, he's been good. Take your pick there, but the forwards will win that forward battle and they'll do the damage. Ollie.
I am going to go the Roosters 13+, but it won't be a big score. I'm thinking maybe like 14 to 16 points. First try scorer, I will go with a Sharky. I'll go Mulatalo. I think I have for the past couple of weeks and he hasn't, but I'll go
Has he
Mulatalo.
been named? Didn't he do an MCL?
He was
last week?
named. No, he's named.
Okay.
And man of the match, I'm going to go Angus Crichton.
Ollie, other Ollie, Blocky.
Is that a compliment?
No, it's not.
I'm
No,
not
sorry.
too sure.
It's
No,
not.
Ollie's a good
It's
bloke.
not.
He's a good bloke. I'm really looking forward to seeing Sam Walker in this one again. I think that he's had all the hype of his debut game, and this is now, you hear second year syndrome, maybe second game syndrome. We'll actually see
Big watch.
how
Big
he is
watch
this
on
week.
Walker.
I'm on the same page as you, Daggy. I'm going Angus Crichton first try, and let's stick with him as well. Man of the match.
Very nice. We get to the 4 o'clock Sunday game. Tigers take on the Cowboys at Leichhardt. Tremendous day out, as Blocky said. You can give some plugs out.
I've got a question for you, Daggy.
Hello.
If the Tigers don't win 13+, what does that say about them?
Then I will be disappointed. I'm scared we're going to lose. Don't worry about 13 plus.
Don't you get worried versing the Cowboys? This is what happened to me a couple of weeks ago. nearly never been so worried for a Titans game, because if you don't turn up against the Cows, then I mean, Jesus.
Who was the first team the Broncos beat last year? Remind me?
Dogs.
Oh, no, it was two.
It's
Sorry,
the only
I thought
team
we
they've
were-
beaten in 2 years.
I thought they beat us. It was a couple of years ago. Anyway, let's move on. My two favourite words today are Kapoa out
Yeah, nice.
and buy into the centres. Cheekham onto the bench, which I think suggests that he might be a chance of playing centre, to be honest with you, if they go that way.
Okay.
Any intel? No.
Yeah, makes sense.
Tamalolo's been named. Kyle Felt's back for the Cows. They need all the help they can get. I'll keep rolling in that. I think I'm hoping 13 plus. Probably disappointed if it's not, obviously. I'm thinking a split through the middle, Dane Laurie support, up the guts,
Nice.
runaway try, and Dewey will keep his form rolling and take 3 Daggy M's next week.
Beautiful.
Johnny.
This is not a 4 o'clock Sunday game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's footy, so that's nice. I'll go Tigers to win.
What is anything anymore? It's not just, they just play footy.
This says 2 p.m. Sunday written all over it. I'll go Tigers to win. Cowboys, they just don't have anything in them. Tigers 13 plus. I'll go Luch, first try scorer. I think he'll cause a lot of damage on that edge. I'll go Noffa for man of the match. I think he could bag as many as he wants on coming up against
Probably
that
needs
weak
it. too.
side. Yeah, he does. He hasn't looked too bad, to be fair.
No,
It's just
doesn't get a lot of ball.
service more than anything. Yeah.
It's just the way that the Cowboys backed off in their defence last week against the Sharks. If they do that to someone like Nofa and
I'm hoping Jimmy the Jet gets into
and
that.
Luciano
Yeah.
and Jimmy the Jet, they're gonna pay for it. We've got Tigers 13 plus. Man of the match, I'm going with you with Dewey. He's, as I mentioned earlier, he's been super impressive, and I'm going to go first try scorer Nofaluma in the right hand side.
Ollie?
Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m, Leichhardt Oval. Probably going to get at least 15,000 Tigers fans there. And they're versing the Cowboys, 13 plus. Like, the Tigers are going to look very good in this game. Like, they're going to look like a premiership contender in this game, I reckon.
Say it louder, Ollie.
First try scorer, just to jump on the train, the Noffa train. And man of the match is going to be Luke Brooks, because I reckon he'll have a blinder against them.
Yeah,
This will be
nice.
his one really good at Leichhardt Oval.
Tear it apart.
Sunday Arvo against the Cowboys. It's set up for him to have a good game. And if he's going to have a blinder this year, it's going to be in this one.
Blocky, put the final word on this.
I've only got one tip for this one, and it's going to be a bloody good day of footy.
Get your plug it.
No,
Where
no.
can we find tickets if we need to, or whatever else you've got that written down?
Just head to westtigers.com.au/tickets.
Lovely.
Very
I hope-
good.
Beautiful.
Gates open at
10 a.m. or something?
10:15 a.m. The first game 10:30. The women's game, then Jersey Flag Reserve Grade NRL.
True man,
See you there.
Watch Jock Madden and Simkin in action again. And the 6 o'clock game where I'll be at the Colonial with Damo. If anyone wants to join us, come down and have beers. Parramatta and the Dragons in an interesting finish to the weekend. A really interesting clash of Mahoney and McCulloch and a few other things. Barney, how are you approaching the game? Team-wise, all per program, yeah, everything's
All per program.
everything pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very good forward battle. Both teams have basically leaned on their forwards to get them through most games this year. I think the Eels were disappointing at times with some of their errors and some of the mistakes that they made last week, and I think the trend might continue, to be honest. I'm going to go Eels 1 to 12. They're just going to scrape through. Man of the match, Gutherson. I'm going to go first try scorer, Junior Paulo with a crash play. somewhere
By per
next to the
program,
post.
Madison was named, but he's back again, yeah, so Madison named to start.
Oh,
He
so
obviously
he's
didn't
overcome
last
his
week.
HIA
Yeah, they
from
reckon he'll
last
be
week.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, any difference, yeah. Cool. Ollie?
Um,
Bryce Cartwright named at 17, not as per program. Hang on a second. Ray Stone pushed to the bench. Yuck. Anyway, Cartwright's named at 17. Keegan Hipgrave and Ray Stone both not getting as start on the bench, which, yeah, that's what I said.
that changes. Sorry, I was watching Barney.
Oh, he just left. Okay.
That changes everything, of course, Bryce Cartwright being named.
yeah,
But
I agree.
no, I'm interested to see how the Dragons go. As I've said numerous times, they're the team I'm got a little bit of a hope for this year in terms of exceeding expectations. So if they can at least be in the fight for 60 minutes or so against Parramatta, I think that's a good outing, especially without Ben Hunt. Look, I am going to go Para 13 plus. Going to say man of the match, Isaiah Papali'i. and first try scorer will be our man, Blake Ferguson.
The Fergo. Blocky, man, but you set back on.
Yeah, I never thought that I'd see Bryce Cartwright in an NRL side again. I'm actually
agree.
I'm really shocked that he's playing first grade again. Good luck to him. He had a great junior career, so hopefully he kicks on eventually. In this game,
Particularly ahead of Ray Stone and Keegan Hip, anyway.
yeah, I find it very odd. But yeah, good luck to him. The Dragons, they've got 3 wins to start the year. I think the wheels will eventually fall off. I've got to tip Parramatta in this one. I still don't rate Parramatta that highly.
No, I agree.
I don't think they're...
Actually, the more I've thought about it, I think that Melbourne game was an anomaly more than
I agree.
Have Parrot?
jump on.
They've got a relatively easy draw for the next 5 weeks or so as
Yes,
well.
they've got a
don't
dream
they?
draw.
So
They're going to finish 5th, at least. You can't finish lower than 5th, probably 4th, because they have just the greatest draw of all time. But as I've said on this show, if you're not aware, boys, if Gutho does an Achilles tomorrow, like they won't make the 8. Like they'll fall off a big cliff.
Yeah,
Yep.
very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, anyone more to add?
I'll just give my tips. Moses, man of the match, and Sivo, first try.
When Anthony Griffin took this job, I said he would come back into coaching with a proverbial sock in his pants. Like he has something to prove to everybody. I think
I thought he came back looking like he should be in a retirement home, but okay. Yeah.
he's got a bit of
He's proven wrong.
pep in his step, I reckon, to old Hook.
Good on him.
And he'll have his side jumping out to like a 4-1, 5-1 record, and then eventually, like Blocky said, the wheels will start to come off, and a few of those holes will be exposed. With that said, I think they'll win this week.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
the Eels have given every one of their opponents a chance. I think the Dragons are built to take advantage of that. They've kind of learnt their lesson from round 1. They've just kind of stuck with everyone and just gone, look, if you give us a chance, then by all means we'll take it. So based off that, I reckon Vaughan will help carry them into the game. I think the likes of Dufty and Lomax, especially Dufty, I think they have a chance here to make a bit of a marker. I don't think it'll be sustained, but I think they can snare a bit of a scalp early in the season. So I'll go Dragons 1-12. I'll go Fergo, first try scorer, but I'll go Dufty, man of the match.
Right, okay.
Johnny, you really hate Para, don't you?
I think, no. Listen,
You really hate them.
I think Para are one of 3 genuine premiership winning teams.
I reckon you tip the Cowboys over Para just because you hate Para that much.
I used to hate Para, but then Davey moved away. So
I
hate him less.
think Para are built brilliant. They're one of those sides where the more at stake, the better they are.
I would say the opposite, but okay.
And last question for you, Johnny. Here, what do you think of the referee for this match?
Hello, Grant.
I don't.
Yeah.
We don't ref bash around here. That's how you. Yep. So for the record, first tries and that sort of thing. What have we got?
Good night, boys.
Oh.
Mate, I'm gonna get up.
Oh, he's gone. All right.
See you, Barn.
What's your thingy? Bet. You bet.
Oh, sorry. Actually, give me that back.
All right.
Here you
anyway,
go, Barney.
While he's doing that, we're about to wrap up. I'll just, for the sake of it, go Parramatta. I'm saying Parramatta 1-12. I think Dragons will be plucky. Dylan Brown first try score. I'm saying a show and go or maybe a dummy half
Loves
dart
testing
and
the
just
line,
get something back in it. And I'm saying against Paul Vaughan, I'm saying Paulo man of the match. Just he'll wake up and he's been quiet at times. Still been good, but not quite right out of it. And I'm saying he will be the guy tomorrow. You may as well stick around now, you bun, because we've
only
all
got
that's
5 minutes
is,
left. But fucking, it's gone from 2 hours to 3 hours to 4 hours.
That's
fucking,
fun, but it's better cost us.
Jesus.
Punting Disaster Class, Barn. How do the stats
Tallies,
read?
all right. So Gumpy's
Hang
in
on,
the
we got all,
lead.
yeah, everyone tipped in there. Good.
Yeah, so we've got Gumpy in the lead. He's only had the 3 bets, and he's on a positive $615 from his $150 outlay. Daggy's on $610 positive outlay from his $200 spent. Oli is minus $200, and I got my first win this week, which pushes me into a $32 positive after a $200 spend. So what I'm looking at this week, I'm going to go with South's Titans, Warriors, and Storm, all at 13 plus. Gives you about $7.60, and I'm going to put my $50 on that.
Very nice. I will keep it very simple, and I think if you're ever going to use a joke around, this is around. If you're in tipping comps and the like, just double down this week. Everyone's going to win, but I'm going to just back all the ones at $1.30. I believe are still value. No lines, nothing tricky.
Head to
But
head.
just back the Warriors head-to-head, into Penrith head-to-head, into Titans, Roosters, Tigers, Para. They're all going to win, have $50 on it. You're going to get $5.40, and that's a great bet. $270 back for you. 50. Ollie.
I should preface this by letting you guys know I don't bet, so I take the piss out of this, which is exactly what I'm about to do now, although it could
Nice.
be the closest I come to getting one right, because I'm going
One day Ollie's going to land a 20 grand multi.
the Tigers to win,
Yep.
Noffa to score,
Yep.
Laurie to score, Yuto Manu to score, and James Tarmo to score.
Okay.
And
Very
that's
good.
your lot.
Okay, we'll find a price for that.
I'll do that right.
Johnny?
I've got two. Right, you can get $6, a tick over $6 for Fergo, Noffa, and Munster all to score this week, which I think is absurd.
Yep.
So $45 on that at $6. If you go all my teams to win, there's a bit of value. So $5 on that at $40 gets you a tick over 200.
I like it. And Blocky, finish us off if you're
I'm
right.
going to have a bit of a laugh like Ollie did. I'm going to go with Nelson Asafa Solomona, first try into Newcastle to beat the Titans. You can get yourself $108.50 for that. I'll whack all 50 on for a return of $5,425.
I love it. I can't wait for that to
what?
happen.
It's $108.50,
Yep.
and I'll whack 50 on that for a return of $5,425.
Right.
Love it. It's been Footy and Frothies. This is our preview show. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Barney, if you stick around for the last 30 seconds. Thank you for joining us, boys. It's been a lot of fun to catch up. We'll do it again, I think,
Definitely. Same time next week.
and catch up again. And we might even have a few rugby league roundtables over the course of the rest of the season. But should be a lot of fun. Ollie, as always, thank you. And we'll catch everyone again, same place next week. See you guys.